Hey, this is Bryce. I just wanted to congratulate you on going under contract on the sale of your property. This is going to be a short video just on what to expect and the process from contract all the way to the closing table if you are the seller of a property. We're just going to walk through the contract real quick. This is the purchase and sale agreement for the Northeast Florida Association of Realtors. This is the contract we typically use in Jacksonville. Different areas of Florida use a different contract, and if you're anywhere else, I'm sure there's a different contract. But just to go through it real quick, I'm going to go through the main points, timelines to expect, and walk you from now that you're under contract all the way to the closing table on what to expect. So this is the first page of the contract. This is where we've got buyer's name, your name, the property address. But here's the important part that you're probably interested in. Line 36 is the total purchase price. Line 24 is the binder or earnest money deposit, or it's called all kinds of things, deposit. But right here is where we fill in how many days the buyer has to turn their binder into the title company. Typically that defaults to 3 days in Jacksonville, but that can be negotiated on any other amount of days. But typically, if nothing's here, it's going to be 3 days, and that's usually what we call for. Today is your contract date, so today is day 0. So you count 0, then tomorrow will be 1, then the next day 2, and the third day 3. So that's how it's counted. Day 0 is your contract day, so everything's going to count from there. Lines 38 through 40 is just where the binder is going to be held. Typically, that's going to be the title company that either you told me you wanted to use or that I recommended, depending on if you knew anybody in the business or not. But typically, it's going to be the title company I recommend. And I do that just so I work with these people all the time, and we have a nice, clean, smooth closing. Lines 45 through 48 are going to say whether you got a cash offer or an offer with a loan. From there, from this day 0, they've got 5 days to submit the application to get their mortgage approved. Doesn't mean it's going to get approved in those 5 days, but they've got 5 days just to submit the application. The buyer has, and most of this stuff, you don't have to do anything. It's just be aware that this is the timeline. This is what the buyer has to do, just to make sure that they're performing as they said they would on the contract. Loan approval period is typically 30 days if nothing's written in there, but we can go out further if there's a later close. So anything with a blank here is always negotiable, but I'm just going off the typical date is 30 days if it's left blank, or we also write it in sometimes. Maintenance and inspection and repair. So from today's date, today being day 0, they've got 10 days to schedule the inspection, do the inspection, review the inspection, and if they have any repair requests, they have to send us in writing a repair request before the 10th day. If they don't do that, we don't have to answer them, and then they can't get out of the contract, and they lose their binder if they don't do that and they want to get out due to some issue with the property itself. But they've got 10 days to do it. So expect that we'll be scheduling the inspection, and potentially may have another negotiation point if they're requesting any repairs. And that's on line 125. 10 days typical if left blank. But again, anything can be negotiated. Title evidence this is what we provide to the buyer. We do it 5 days before closing. That's handled by title. Again, nothing you have to worry about. The survey, if you've got, this is line 193, 196, or 200. This is where we're deciding if they need a survey or not. On the Jacksonville, Florida contract, it's typical for the seller to pay for the survey if we need one. If you have an existing survey that you still have from when you bought the property, typically it can be reused as long as it's not too old. I forget the exact date on that, but I think it's 15 or 20 years. But don't quote me on that. But we have to provide that at least 5 days for closing. Again, that's something that title will order and they'll schedule it with me. So nothing that you have to worry about as the seller of the property. Line 206 through 208, this is where we're going to say what day we're going to close. Some days we spell it out by a date. Some days we say, we have X days after the loan approval period. And some days we go off the acceptance of the agreement. Again, today being day 0 for you. So this is when we're going to close, basically. This, if you're dealing with me, I would have gone over this section before we accepted anything. But this is everything that the buyer's going to be paying for. And then starting on 265, this is everything that you're going to be paying for. No timelines on that, so I'll skip by that here pretty quick. This is where line 417 and 41819, this is saying when we're going to give possession. Typically, it's the day of closing. And that's pretty much it for the timelines. So again, I'd like to say congratulations on the sale of your property. It's exciting. On the seller side, you don't have a whole lot to do. So sit back, relax, start getting ready to move and pack it. Thanks so much. Congratulations. Bye now.